Hello, my name is Noah, and today I'll be presenting my final report for my CSI-4950 internship. Over the past semester, I worked as an advanced repair agent, or ARA, with Best Buy's Geek Squad. My role placed me directly in the middle of diagnosing, repairing, and troubleshooting a wide range of customer electronics. On a daily basis, I was working hands-on with Windows and Mac computers, iPhones, iPads, and a variety of peripherals and accessories. Some of the responsibilities I handled included hardware diagnostics, Apple certified repairs, malware detection and removal, data migration, OS reinstallations, and device level security configuration. I also spent a lot of time speaking with customers, explaining diagnoses, setting device expectations, and helping them understand their device issues. For this internship course, I registered for 2 credits, but the experience has felt exponentially more valuable. This internship has been one of the most practical hands-on opportunities that I've had in my career so far. Throughout the internship, I achieved a number of milestones that helped me expand my skills and deepen my understanding of repair workflows. One major area was Apple repairs. I performed numerous screen replacements, battery swaps, back glass repairs, system assemblies, speaker replacements, and even rear camera repairs. Each one of these repairs required precision and attention to detail since some of the parts are delicate and tolerances can be tight. I also performed many system tune-ups on both Mac and Windows devices. These included virus removals, Windows 11 upgrades, configuring built-in security tools, and spotting different forms of malicious software in Screen Connect clients. Over time, I got much faster at identifying malware, even when it tried to disguise itself as legitimate software. That's the same for Screen Connect clients. I was able to see if these processes were running in the background and be able to stop them from trying to run again. Another key accomplishment was diagnosing complex hardware failures. These range from TPM and BIOS issues to components damaged by power surges, and even CPU and motherboard incompatibilities. Several of these cases required in-depth troubleshooting using both tools and personal experience. I also handled some complicated data recovery jobs, including systems where the hardware was physically failing, devices that were BitLocker encrypted, and laptops that could barely turn on. These were some of the most challenging, but also most rewarding tasks because they directly impacted a customer's personal data. Beyond repairs, I contributed to improving workflow efficiency in the precinct. This included organizing work orders, closing older or long outstanding cases, and improving my repair note clarity so that client advisors could be more in tune and have these diagnoses explained easily to customers. I supported back-end processes too. These included Apple part returns, shipping out devices covered under the manufacturer warranty or Geek Squad protection plans, and assisting with functionality checks to returned items like TVs and computers. These tasks gave me a better understanding of how a repair department runs behind the scenes, and not just working with computers on the workbench. Another thing I really valued was educating customers. Sometimes this meant recommending computer parts or upgrades, and other times it meant teaching them how to avoid scams, recognize malicious pop-ups, or safely store their data. These moments let me connect technical knowledge with real customer needs in a meaningful way. The pictures I have here are of a Geek Squad badge. This is what you get after working at Geek Squad for 18 months. And then the picture below it is an example of what the workbench kind of looks like, more to the right, and then the customer pickup area when devices are ready. A counter agent will be able to go back, find a device or computer, be able to pick it up alongside with the folder, and give it back out to the customer. Next, I want to talk about approaches I used and the skills I applied throughout the internship. On the technical side, I improved significantly in Apple repair workflows. This included learning safe part removal, especially with broken glass, applying adhesive cleanly, testing critical functions after each repair, and verifying that the phone was fully sealed and functioning. I also expanded my knowledge of Windows OS configuration, performing virus removals, fixing corrupted drivers, resolving software conflicts, and completing clean OS reinstalls. A lot of these cases required me to rely on system tools, logs, or even external boot utilities to diagnose problems before Windows could even load. On the hardware side, I worked frequently with Geek Squad's MRI diagnostic tools, tested BIOS and TPM functionality, and performed troubleshooting entirely from external devices when the OS wasn't usable. We also had spare parts that we could use to test if certain components were preventing a computer from booting up. This included spare RAM, graphics card, power supplies, most things that are pretty universal in computers, but aren't also that expensive like most CPUs and different motherboards. Data recovery became another strong skill area. I handled devices with broken hinges, non-functional display, S-mode restrictions, which S-mode doesn't allow unapproved EXEs from running. It has to be verified through the Microsoft Store, and even fully corrupted Windows environments. Each case forced me to adapt and think critically about how to access the user's data. Finally, I learned a lot about OS-specific behaviors, such as how certain malicious pop-ups behave on macOS, or how Windows 11 handles account restrictions in BitLocker. These deeper insights helped me prevent issues before they escalated into something further. This image right here shows some of the Apple repair tools that we used. On the very far left is a battery roller, where you have a special tray that you put the phone in, and then that lever clamps down, and then you just push it back and forth alongside a groove, and that just pats the battery down, makes the adhesive adhere to the phone safely. The thing in the middle is a display/backglass press. So after you apply a new adhesive, when you're applying the display or back glass, you pull the lever down, and then that timer right there starts from 30 seconds, and it just holds it there so that the adhesive can adhere properly to the display and or back glass. The device on the far right is the Easy Bake Oven, as we like to call it, in the back. But it's basically a heated display and back glass removal tool. You clamp down the phone on that thing in the middle, which is just a phone holder, and it has edges around it that heat up and then heat up that external part of the phone so that it loosens the grip of the adhesive. And then that plunger right on top is just a suction cup, and you basically screw that knob on the top to have that suction cup go down, and then also when you latch it in, when you unscrew it, that's when it starts lifting the display up, and then you start using little plastic spudger tools to try to cut that adhesive and remove that display or back glass. On the software side of my skills that I've learned, this internship pushed me to grow in several areas. First was communication. Many of the diagnoses I handled were complex, and customers often didn't know the terminology. I had to learn how to clearly explain what was happening, what the options were, and what repair paths made sense for them. Second was teamwork. Some hardware failures required multiple technicians in the back to test different theories. Cases like CPU versus motherboard troubleshooting or complicated disassembly taught me to coordinate my steps with others and combine our experiences to find the quickest and also most valuable solution. Third was workflow management. During high volume weeks, I had to prioritize older repairs, stay organized across dozens of devices, and make sure that every step was documented. Developing this habit made me way more efficient and more reliable as a part of the team. Many of the courses I've taken at OU have directly supported my work during the internship. The CSI-2440 class, Computer Systems, helped me understand hardware components, system boot processes, and how the operating system interacts with the physical machine. This background was helpful for just understanding computer booting behavior, which aided when it came to diagnosing BIOS issues, TPM problems, and hardware failures caused by power surges. CSI-4950 System Administration taught me OS configuration, driver management, account permissions, and overall system troubleshooting in general. These skills showed up consistently when reinstalling Windows, bypassing S-mode restrictions, or using an MRI tool effectively. Although not using any Linux operating system, the processes are partially similar and helpful when diagnosing weird OS behaviors. Lastly here, CSI-3500, human-computer interaction, improved my communication skills. It helped me understand how different users perceive and interact with technology, which came in handy when explaining malware, threats, or walking someone through a new device setup. Understanding how computers are perceived by regular users is helpful when teaching important things to look out for when browsers and other programs for that matter behave differently from someone's old computer. Some honorable mentions in other courses like information security, script programming, software security, and senior capstone also contributed by strengthening my problem-solving abilities, my understanding of security behavior, and my familiarity with system architecture as a whole. This internship brought several memorable challenges for myself. One of the biggest was a laptop with a destroyed hinge. The screen was hanging on by those display cables and just those, and the display barely worked for that matter. The laptop was also locked down by Windows S mode, meaning we couldn't use our tools immediately to use safe backup software. So we had to connect it to an external monitor, navigate recovery mode completely blind, and mimic keystrokes from a separate laptop just to be able to reach the right menu to disable the S mode exe restrictions, meaning disabling driver enforcement protection, so that we can run our MRI software. It was one of the most elaborate recoveries I've ever done. This picture is just the stock image of a laptop, but it did not look too far from that state, if anything. Another challenge was diagnosing hardware failures after power surges. These required isolating components step by step, often using external boot tools because Windows wouldn't load if the drive had died or if there was a motherboard level issue. We also had a case where we weren't sure if the problem was the CPU or the motherboard. After testing multiple parts and finally being able to convince someone to get us a quick shelf display CPU that matched with the clients, we found that the CPU was at fault. This required multiple callbacks and clear communication with the customer along the way so that we could ensure that they had a working computer and that they were happy as well. Finally, some laptop models hid screws under the keyboard or had unconventional disassembly methods. Learning these variations required patience, teamwork, sometimes even more research through forums or manufacturer documentation just to take these laptops apart. Every challenge strengthened my diagnostic process and taught me the value of persistence. I overcame these challenges through teamwork, research, hands-on testing, and drawing from both personal experience and manufacturer documentation. Throughout the internship, I gained several new technical insights. I learned a lot about how Mac and Windows malware differ, especially in how pop-ups and malicious notifications behave in Mac OS. I also gained deeper knowledge of both BIOS level security and TPM interactions, as well as the importance of hardware-backed system integrity. Another major area was Windows 11. Microsoft is in the process of removing local account setup options, so we had to research new methods for configuring systems without forcing cloud integration right off the bat and requiring customers' login data for Microsoft. This was important for helping older customers who only needed simple local profiles and didn't need the complicated Microsoft account setup. I also learned about Apple part logistics, including how returns work, what components Apple requires back, and how their entire repair ecosystem functions. This helped me understand the business and operational side of repairs, and not just the technical side itself. On the right here at the bottom, I have a TPM module picture. This is sometimes what we need to find online for the customer so that they can have TPM on their motherboard so that they can upgrade to Windows 11. And then on the top there is a Google Chrome notification. These notifications can come from malicious websites when you allow notifications from it, and then these pop-ups will appear on your desktop. And this was just a very common thing with older people who would accidentally click allow, and then they would believe, oh, my computer's been infected. Calling whatever number is advertised is usually going to bring it to a call center that is malicious. So we have to make sure we educate what these broader notifications are, how the computer probably doesn't have any infections whatsoever on it, and show customers and also prevent this from happening again. And to just understand what this is and not have it grow into something that is more technical and way more confusing for the customer. Professionally, I gained insight into how a high-volume repair team manages workflow. It's a balance between speed, accuracy, and communication. And seeing that environment firsthand helped me appreciate how structured the process needs to be. I also saw how operating system changes affect customers. Many people struggle with new security restrictions, cloud requirements, or subscription prompts. Being able to educate them and simplify their experience became an important part of my role. All these insights connect directly to my future goals in the advanced tech support, cybersecurity, and hardware diagnostics. I started this internship with 3 main goals, and I made meaningful progress towards all of them. Goal 1 was to obtain and strengthen my Apple repair certification. I made substantial progress on this by completing a wide range of Apple repairs. This included screen replacements, battery swaps, back glass, mid-systems, and more. And each repair improved my speed, confidence, and familiarity with Apple's repair standards. Goal 2 was to deepen my understanding of security. This happened naturally through malware identification, analyzing new Windows security policies, and understanding TPM and BIOS interactions. I also helped customers improve their device security and understand the importance of surge protectors in some cases and other safe browsing habits, especially when it comes to checking emails and if email is coming from a malicious source. Goal 3 was to improve collaboration and workflow management. Throughout the internship, I worked closely with my team during complex cases, improved the clarity of my repair notes, and developed reliable habits for prioritizing older and more complex work orders. These improvements made me a stronger and more efficient technician. This internship has played a major role in shaping both my short-term and long-term goals. In the short term, I want to continue improving my Apple repair skills and work towards completing more advanced certifications. I also want to become more confident with BIOS level diagnostics and stay up to date on upcoming Windows security changes. Long term, I see myself pursuing a career in cybersecurity or advanced technical support. I plan to work towards certifications such as CompTIA ones or more advanced Apple credentials. I also want to continue building my knowledge of hardware systems, diagnostic tools, and secure computing practices. Overall, this internship helped solidify the direction I want my career to go. To conclude, this internship was an incredibly valuable experience. I developed stronger technical troubleshooting skills, improved my communication and teamwork, and gained a deeper appreciation for the relationship between hardware, software, and the user experience. The challenges I encountered, whether hardware-related, OS-related, or customer-related, all helped shape me into a more confident and capable technician. I am grateful for the opportunity to work with the Geek Squad team. The experience has prepared me for my future career and has given me skills that I will continue to grow with me throughout my professional journey. Thank you for listening.